Hey everybody, this is Dominic DeAngelo WrestleZone.com, and it is episode 4, like 4 horsemen, of WCW Rewritten. And by now you've probably heard of the episode if you're a WrestleZone podcast listener or watcher or whatever you may be doing. So it's basically, again, my brother Marcus is rewriting WCW. And we started with Starrcade 1997. That was episode 1. And so each week after has been a Nitro. So this is the third Nitro going. And Marcus, welcome back to your show. And how are you feeling so far about how you've progressed everything at this moment in time?
Feeling pretty good about things, Dom, and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us. I feel pretty good about how things are going. I've got a strong direction, I think, for everybody, and because I've kind of like mapped things out as far as what direction I've got people going in, now I can kind of pay attention to some of the smaller details, which we're gonna get to see a little bit of in this podcast. So. Just again, this is the January 12th, 1998 episode of Monday Nitro. And I recommend that you go back and listen. If this is your first time listening, welcome. But I do recommend that you go back and listen to the first 3 podcasts, because this one, I'm going to give a little backstory as to what has been happening here and there, but I'm not doing it on purpose. If anything, I'm just like trying to further the storyline I'm working on. So probably you might be a little left in the dark. Go back and listen, and feel free to again write in, let us know what you think, and we love hearing opinions. And by the way, we've got a winner based on some listener opinions today.
Yeah. So how would they give us some feedback there, Marcus? What do they need to do?
Well, I recommend you go give us a follow at WCW Rewritten on Twitter. You can follow me at Marcus P. DeAngelo on Twitter, and
DMs open.
The DMs are open, so slide right in there. Also, you can give Dominic a follow on Twitter and WrestleZone a follow on Twitter. Dominic, how do they follow those two?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Dominic DeAngelo, and you can follow WrestleZone on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. And hey, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this on YouTube, give this video a like and hit that subscribe button, the ring-a-ding-ding, that bell. And yeah, if you want to give more feedback and help out the show, give us a good rating on iTunes and ask a question on there. I'm going to take a moment to look at those here, if there are any. And be sure to get some listener feedback or questions if you have a question or anything like that on there too. We'll be happy to read those too.
By all means.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Dominic, my notebook is about halfway full. So
and we're only 4 episodes in.
I've been writing a lot, so I've got a feeling that by the time this is all said and done, I'm going to have quite a few notebooks.
Perhaps this might catch such fire that you'll have to get those, prints made or something of a special Nitro that maybe a listener.
Well, we could always, if it's popular enough, I'll just do a giveaway and give away my show notes.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, but to your point, Marcus, you've changed some stuff. If you are not familiar with what's happened on this series so far, definitely give a tune back in and listen and get caught up, because there's some intriguing stuff. Marcus we might see more of this today, I'd imagine, but Marcus has cut promos and really set the tone and ambiance for that, giving you that nostalgic yet WCW Nitro vibe. So away we go with this. Now, how we do it here, I will read you right now what originally happened on this WCW Nitro. And as I mentioned last week before, and Marcus agrees, is all this is going to very much change. Like what you're going to see on cards and stuff like that, it's going to be different, obviously. But I just think it's a good reference point to make, just so you know what happened on January 12th, 1998, Monday Nitro. And it is as follows. Bill Goldberg defeated a favorite of ours, Jerry Flynn.
Oh, Jerry.
Jerry Flynn. Now he like wiped the brow and flipped it, right? Or did he just do something? No, that was a taunt on Revenge that I always use for Jerry Flynn, was this thing they would do, like the salute kind of thing.
Jerry Flynn was on Revenge?
He wasn't. We made him.
Why would anybody make him on a video game?
Because we needed some enhancement talent, and we're like, hey, I made Jerry Flynn at least.
All I really remember about Jerry Flynn was that he looked like he had double the amount of teeth of a normal human being.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
He
I
would
think that's
smile and
factual.
just full of teeth. But
Mhm.
half his face was teeth.
Isaac Yankem would have had a field day with him.
Would have had a field day.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Marty Jannetty defeated Black Cat. Chris Benoit defeated Dean Malenko in a singles match. Booker T defended his WCW World Television title against Saturn successfully. Lex Luger defeated Hugh Morris. Steve McMichael defeated Chris Jericho. Wow. Juventud Guerrero successfully defended his World Cruiserweight title against Rey Mysterio Jr. And then the main event was a WCW World Tag Team title match. The Outsiders, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, defeated the Steiner Brothers to win the titles. So,
My oh my.
Goodness gracious. So there you go. That's what happened on the January 12th, 1998 Nitro. Now, Marcus, what happens on your January 12th, 1998 Nitro?
Yeah, let me tell you, things change quite a bit. So let's buckle in, and I'm going to start at the top of the show. So again, this is WCW Monday Nitro from January 12th, 1998. Pardon me. The show kicks off with the classic open we all know and love, but instead of fireworks and Tony Schiavone shouting when we go live at the arena, we have a shot from the hard cam of Los Latinos standing in the ring. They're all wearing their new shirts, which are black with a tattered Mexican flag on the chest. Written across the face of the flag in white font is, of course, Los Latinos.
Okay, so you're giving me some design input here, huh?
That's right. Hey, we'll make a T-shirt and sell them. Los Latinos. That's let's see how popular this show gets. Guerrero has a mic in hand, and when he sees that red light go off, he does his thing. What's it gonna take, JJ Dillon? What's it gonna take, WCW? What's it gonna take, Ted Turner? If I have to stand with my hermanos in this ring all night to get your attention, that's what I'll do. Every man you see in this ring has paid his dues. We've fought in dirty halls, we've broken bones, we've accepted pennies as payoffs, and we've traveled thousands of miles. At every turn, I've faced a new obstacle and fought my way over, around, or right the hell through it. And for what? So that men like JJ Dillon can continue to hold me back? Well, that's over. I'm tired of fighting through the endless obstacles. I've earned main event status, and I want WCW to give it to me. Suddenly, the crowd erupts as a familiar sound hits the PA system. Bagpipes. Ooh. Rowdy Roddy Piper comes through the curtain, and he looks like he means business. He heads for the ring and steps through the ropes. The announcers have been going crazy, and they put over strong the fact that Piper is fearless. Doesn't matter how many members of Los Latinos are in the ring, Piper never backs down. He grabs a mic of his own and steps to Eddie as the rest of the men surround them. Eddie Guerrero. I wish I had a good Piper impression. Bruce Pritchard does a really good one.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Eddie Guerrero. Huh?
Eddie.
Eddie Guerrero, Piper starts. Did I just hear you say that you want that main event status given to you? I don't know how you were brought up, kid, but where I learned wrestling, you had to earn every damn inch. Eddie starts to bring the mic to his mouth, but Piper interrupts. No.
Don't you do that to me.
No.
Don't you do that to me.
When I talk, you shut up and listen. A big pop from the crowd, of course. Don't you think I wanted to gripe when I was growing up on the streets, fighting for my next meal and a warm place to sleep? How about when I got my first match and Larry the Axe Hennig broke my nose like a ketchup bottle all over my face? Or when classy Freddie Blassie filled my bagpipes with toilet paper in Madison Square Garden and humiliated me? Every obstacle you've encountered is like a molehill compared to the Everest I've had to climb. But you put your head down, you keep fighting, and you earn the right to close the show. I see you, Eddie. I see that maybe while you aren't the upstanding person you want people to believe that you are, your talent is undeniable. Quit standing in your own way. Quit manipulating people like the ones you've surrounded yourself with now, and quit making excuses for coming up short. Eddie has been steaming this whole time and looks like he's about to boil over when he finally speaks. You done, old man? You've got a lot of nerve coming down here and disrespecting me. You think we're the same? You think you know what it's like? You have no idea what it's like for someone like me, like us, to make it in a business that was made for people who look like you. But I look around this ring right now, and I think that maybe we can help you understand. I don't know if you've noticed, Rowdy Roddy Piper, but it looks to me like you're the minority right now. Eddie backs away and Los Latinos swarm Piper. After taking a few punches, Roddy goes on the offensive with his trademark flurry of punches. One by one, Los Latinos are flat backing for Piper and rolling out of the ring. La Parca is the last, and when he charges Piper, he gets back body drop to the outside. Roddy turns to the men on the outside and dares any one of them to come back in. Eddie quietly slid out of the ring during the action, but now he's come back in behind Piper, wielding a chair. He sneaks up behind him, but Piper turns in time and punches the chair back into Eddie's face. Eddie bails out of the ring, selling his nose, as Piper watches the men retreat, shaking off his hand with a big grin on his face. So we return to Tony Schiavone, Tenay, and Zbyszko, all of whom put over Piper and his craftiness. Tony goes on to tell us about the great show that we have tonight, featuring the Steiner brothers versus Public Enemy for the tag team titles, and a main event featuring Randy Savage against Booker T for the TV title. The next match is underway.
Oh, we're not gonna talk about this here.
Oh, let's talk about it, Dom. Yeah.
Jeez, like what?
Hey, you're the Ed McMahon. Chime in. Oh, look at that. Roddy Piper in his underwear there, Dom.
That's great. Yeah. He's ready for a 1980s LJN interview. I liked it, man. I think incorporating Roddy into that, speaks to the point of us wanting to build up Eddie quickly, and I think it's good and very serendipitous that he ends up cracking Eddie in the nose like Freddie Blassie did to him. So
yeah, or Larry Hennig did.
Larry Hennig, thank you.
Yeah, and that was those are all facts, by the way. Piper, when he was growing up, he was on the streets and he was living in halfway houses. His first wrestling match, he was still just a kid, and he had to climb into the ring with Larry the Axe Hennig. Larry felt like Piper had disrespected him. I can't remember what he did when he was on the way to the ring, but I guess Larry felt like he disrespected him, and he just punched him right in the face as soon as the match started.
You know, if that was that in Portland?
Probably.
Yeah.
I want to say Portland or California. Yeah, actually, it might have been San Francisco. I don't remember. But in any case, he had it rough. All that stuff is true. So, I felt like Eddie griping. There's like one really good person to come out here and start shit with him about it, and it's Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yeah, he's been there before.
Yep. Also, I think it's important to note that around this time, it was noted in a newsletter in December. I don't remember which, but Rowdy Roddy Piper was finishing up some acting gigs with Walker Texas Ranger. And so I'm not sure, obviously, what the filming schedule is like. I know that Piper wasn't really around much during this time in WCW, but we're operating under the assumption here that Turner said, hey, look, we need you. So private jet, come out for tonight and come out again for Sold Out.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
That's how I'm handling that situation.
All right.
All right, so the next match is underway, and we have Steve Mongo McMichael taking on Chris Jericho. So just as it actually happened with Jericho during this era, he comes out to the ring with a new suit for Dave Penzer after having ripped it off him last week. And he gives a disingenuous apology on the house mic, saying that he will never, ever do it again. And with that done,
was he doing that yet?
I think that was the first time he did it.
Oh, okay.
I believe that was the first time that Jericho ever did it. Yes. So with that done, the match begins. Mongo was obviously very limited as far as his in-ring abilities are concerned. That being said, he was like a great personality.
Yeah.
Flair loved having him in the Four Horsemen, apparently, just because, like, on the mic, he was engaging, he was entertaining. I mean, he's a larger than life character.
He's a pro football player and a Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, and having him against Chris Jericho, though, is kind of a good match because Jericho, especially in this era, he was at the top of his game, and he could bring out the best in everybody. So he's going to lead Mongo through this match.
I know Arn really liked him too a lot. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot to like about him. Like as far as wrestling characters are concerned, he fits. Now his in-ring ability, nope. So Mongo gets a win here with his Tombstone Pile Driver. And of course, following the match, Jericho tears Dave Penzer's suit off again and has a tantrum. And the heel transformation is complete. As far as I'm concerned, that's the end of it. Chris Jericho is now a full-blown heel. All right, so Tony throws to Mean Gene, who's backstage with Booker T. Gene says, Booker T. That's my Gene impression. That's all I got. Booker T, you are one of the fastest rising stars in WCW and in the entire wrestling industry. As our new television champion, I know you'll make WCW proud. WCW. That's how he always used to say it. He would always. There was no WCW. It was WCW. But last week, Booker, Lex Luger issued a challenge asking you to put the belt on the line and prove yourself as the future of WCW. How do you respond? Mean Gene, Booker says, growing up the way that Stevie Ray and I did, you learn that if you back down from a challenge once, you'll back down again and again for the rest of your life until you can't look at yourself in the mirror. Lex Luger is one of the greatest athletes in the history of this sport and a former WCW heavyweight champion. A guy like me would have to be crazy to think that I could beat somebody with his experience. Well, Gene, I must be crazy because I accept your challenge, Lex Luger. I'll see you at Sold Out, and I'll be bringing my best. I hope you do too. Now, Gene, I gotta go. I got a big match to prepare for. And
can you dig that?
No, can you? Was he doing that yet?
I don't know.
I keep thinking about saying like after a match like, and he does a spinneroonie, but I'm like, I don't think he was doing that. I don't know.
I'm trying to think. We'll have to go back to the archives and try to figure out when the first spinneroonie was.
Help us, Dave.
Help us, or Booker, help us.
There you have it. Gene says another match set for an already incredible card on January 24th. It sold out. Tony, Mike, and Larry, back to you. I need to throw in a 1-900-909-9900 reference here sometime with Gene. So I've got to remember to do that.
We need a hotline, Mean Gene.
Tony puts over Sold Out and the stack card. Zbyszko begins talking about how he and the Giant are going to mop the ring with the outsiders' faces when Tony interrupts. Apparently, a scene is developing backstage. Mongo has his jacket and gear bag in hand, and he's rushing down a hallway backstage toward an exit as the camera follows him. When he opens the door, a Cadillac is burning about 20 feet in the distance. Mongo shouts about his new car when suddenly Chris Kanyon, Saturn, Raven, Scotty Riggs, Kidman, and Sick Boy all step out from behind the vehicle. All of them look somber except for Kanyon, who's grinning like an absolute maniac while flipping his Zippo open and shut constantly. Mongo drops his bag and runs toward the group. He knocks Sick Boy and Kidman away, but the numbers are too much. The flock kicks Mongo's ass and leaves him laying. Kanyon walks up to the cameraman and grabs the camera so it's pointed only inches from his face. The purification of WCW has begun, he says. The screen goes black and we take a commercial break.
Ooh.
So, the whole car getting damaged while the wrestler's in the ring thing is like, it's a trope that's played out, but it's effective. So I was like, effective?
Heck, it gives that Warriors type of vibe to it too. Of the
absolutely. Yeah. And those guys, the flock, I mean, who's more like, when we return, Juventud Guerrera's awesome music hits and the Juice is on his way to the ring. The announcers are calling him an underdog for this bout as he's getting ready to face a much larger opponent in Ray Traylor. Juvi climbs into the ring where Traylor is already waiting. And when he climbs the rope to give his Juvi headbang for the crowd, Ray jumps him and the match is rolling. Juvi's getting bounced all over the ring here as Traylor's dominant throughout the match. Every time Guerrero starts to come back, Ray just bodies him into a corner and lays into him. Finally, Ray signals for the boss man slam, but Juvi nails him with a rolling DDT. Traylor and Juvi both regain their feet at about the same time, and Ray charges him, looking for a clothesline. Juvi ducks it and comes off the ropes with a spinning heel kick. He drags Traylor to the turnbuckle and nails him with the 450 splash for a huge win. The announcers tell like we've just seen a miracle as Juvi celebrates. So I have written here, I really like Ray Traylor as a performer, athletic big guy. But him in WCW always felt very snake bit to me. Because they started out with that Guardian Angel bullshit gimmick, and then like
I don't like that though. That was I mean maybe it tied too much to like Big Boss Man, but
right. And when he first came out, Shivani was like, "Boy, he's a big boss, man." Yes, which is awful.
That makes sense.
So yeah, he was just kind of used like another WWF guy for Hogan to kind of like regain his 80s power. At least that's how I viewed it. Like all those guys in the Dungeon of Doom, like it felt like it was all just designed around getting Hulk Hogan back to what he was in the 80s and trying to like use this old formula that just doesn't work anymore. So I was really happy for Ray when he returned to the WWF to reprise his big boss man role. I thought that was really fun to see him back in that role, and WWF used him properly. So I am not going to retain Ray's services here.
I was thinking when you were talking back in the matches, like, is he gonna try to repackage, Ray Traylor, or what's gonna happen? So
Ray Traylor is the big boss man. That's all he should be in pro wrestling, and I'm not going to do some kind of a carbon copy, shitty version of that in WCW. So I am not going to retain his services. He will be released from his contract and can either sit at home until it expires or collects checks before he heads off to WWF.
All right.
So that's going to be his last match, and I thought it was good to have him put over Hoovy here.
Yeah, Hoovy. It's so weird to think like we associate the 450 splash so much now with AJ Styles.
Yes,
things like that. It's like,
and Too Cold Scorpio. I think that he was the first one to do it.
Yeah, but Hoovy was the first we've ever seen do it.
And like I always thought it like good looking kid, but I always thought it was way better from when he was like wearing his mask and like it was very easy to get behind him. He had that like wild hair and he would like come out and do his headbanging shtick, and it was like I liked Hoovy a lot when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. So it's like I see him as a future star. So like let's kind of nudge him down the road with a big win over an established legend like Ray Traylor.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so following the match, Hector Garza and Silver King come to ringside with a Los Latinos shirt. Hoovy shakes hands with both men, but he refuses the shirt and starts toward the back as the two look on in puzzlement.
Wait, who was that?
Silver King and Psychosis come down to the ring. Or I'm sorry, Hector Garza come down to the ring and offer him a Los Latinos shirt. Oh. But he shows them respect, but he's like, no.
Oh. Wait, who comes down the ring?
Silver King
for the match.
No, at the end of the match. So following the match, Silver King and Hector Garza come down.
I got you. Okay, so they come down, offer Hoovy a shirt, and he
exactly.
I got you. I was confused because I thought Hector was getting offered a shirt or Silver King, and I wasn't sure. Like I was like,
no, they're already in Los Latinos.
Okay, that's yes.
Yeah,
I knew Hector was, but like I wasn't too sure if Silver King was included in the mix.
I was like trying to figure out what the fuck you're talking about, but okay. So yes, just to be clear, the match ends. Hoovie's still in the ring. He's like celebrating. He's happy. And here comes a couple members of Los Latinos trying to recruit him. And he is not interested, but he shows them respect.
Okay. I got you.
All right. So backstage, Mean Gene opens a private locker room and we find Roddy Piper inside icing the hand that he punched Guerrero with. Roddy Piper, Gene says, what a return you made here tonight. Confronting Los Latinos and specifically Eddie Guerrero. Is that hand broken? If it is, Gene, it was for a damn good cause. These young guys think that the world owes them something, Gene, and I've had it up to here with them. Eddie Guerrero, you tried to sneak up on me tonight and take a shortcut, and you paid the price. It's the same price you've paid your whole life because you've been taking shortcuts your whole life. Well, Junior, you're not going to take one with me. I want you to travel the rough road for once in your life, and I don't care if I have to drag you down it. I'll see you at Sold Out, and I hope you're man enough to come alone. So,
everybody pays the piper.
Damn it. I wish I would have said that. Holy smokes, you've heard it here just now. Roddy Piper will face Eddie Guerrero at Sold Out on January 24th. Tony, Mike, and Larry, back to you. So I keep saying January 24th every time, but that's what Gene would do, right?
Yeah,
if there's a pay-per-view coming up, he would always say like on January 24th, presented by Snickers.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to stop doing it, just so you guys know.
No, keep doing it. Yes. That's the art of promotion. The lost art of promotion.
So Tony and the guys in the booth pop huge for this. Tony says, Guerrero has needed an attitude adjustment for a long time, and I can't think of anyone better suited to give it to him than Roddy Piper. All right, so next up, we hear Public Enemy's We Like to Party begin to play, and we're on to our next contest. Johnny Grunge and Rocco Rock come out waving their arms and, of course, carrying a table, which they place at ringside. Dave Penzer has told us that the following contest is for the WCW World Tag Team Championship. So we know who's coming out next. Steinerized plays on the Steinerized plays, and the Steiner brothers make their way to the ring. They're walking next to each other, and Tony suggests that they must have made up after last week, which saw Scott Steiner not supporting his brother Rick, and the two getting into a heated argument after Scott nearly attacked Bobby Heenan. Larry says Scott seems to be acting out of character for the past few weeks, and he hopes that the brothers can get back on the same page with a win here tonight. So, I mean, everybody sees where I'm going here, right? It's Scott Steiner became one of the biggest stars in the business when he kind of like took off his old facade and just became Big Papa Pump, which seems like it might be just exactly who he is as a real human being.
The Big Daddy. Who's Daddy?
Right. Right. He's got his freaks and his peaks. And I mean,
you gotta holler if you hear him.
Dude, he was in his element as Big Papa Pump. So like we are on a path here. Again, I've said it a few times. I'll say it again. WCW did some things right in 1998, and this is one of them. So I'm going to keep him on that trajectory, but we'll just see how it plays out, because I don't have exactly all the same plans as they did for guys like Goldberg or Jericho or Scott Steiner. All right, so Rick starts the match out against Grunge and pretty much abuses him. I think that we can all picture how the Steiner brothers would react to being in the ring with a couple guys who are like ECW guys who aren't necessarily ring technicians. So I mean, let's not pull any punches here, because the Steiners damn sure wouldn't be. They would kick the shit out of those two if they were in the ring with them. So that's pretty much what's happening here. So let's just let our imaginations run wild. Grunge manages to fend off Rick long enough to make a tag to Rocco Rock. Rocco gets some jabs in on Rick, but Rick quickly puts him down, probably after no selling, with a belly-to-belly suplex, and tags in Scott. Scott then proceeds to eat up Rocco Rock here. He stretches him and suplexes him all over the ring and ignores. But here's kind of the key to this. He ignores it when his brother reaches out for another tag. Steiner nails Rock with the screwdriver, then runs over and knocks Grunge off the apron. Scott locks the unconscious Rocco Rock into a camel clutch, and the ref calls for the bell. So I think that once he became Big Papa Pump, that's when he started putting people in the camel clutch, or the Steiner recliner, as he called it. So that's why I didn't call it a Steiner recliner here, because I want this to be like a new thing that he is just beginning to do right now.
Oh, okay.
Steiner takes forever to break the hold, and only ultimately does when Rick comes over and yells at him. When he sees that Scott has broken the hold, Rick climbs the turnbuckle and holds his belt over his head to celebrate with the fans. Scott, however, slips out of the ring and starts beating on Johnny Grunge. Scott gets him set for the double underhooks powerbomb, and only now does Rick turn and see what his brother's been doing. He moves to stop Scott, but it's too late. Scott powerbombs Grunge through the table that Public Enemy is set up outside. We go to commercial with the announcers chastising Scott while he and Rick argue at ringside. All right, that's the end of hour one. So, Larry, get your ass to the back, and here comes Bobby Heenan.
Man, Public Enemy set that table up. They had to expect something to happen, right?
Dominic, it's the Chekhov's gun. They always brought the damn table out, and most of the time, one of those two went through it. Yeah. So you'd think that after the 40th time that happened, they'd be like, you know what, I'm going to quit bringing this table.
Maybe we shouldn't do this during the tag title match.
Do you remember when Kevin Nash picked up Rocco Rock for a powerbomb, and he just turned and just pitched him outside the ring through the table with the powerbomb? Oh. It was incredible.
Holy shit.
Yeah, you could tell that Rocco Rock knew it was coming, but you could see the terror on his face when it was about to happen.
Oh god.
Kevin Nash is 7 feet tall, which means that he's 10 feet in the air, like his head is, and then he's looking down another probably additional 5. It's 12 to 15 feet drop. And so that would be horrific.
Holy smokes.
All right, so when we return for hour 2, Shivani throws to a replay of Scott Steiner destroying Grunge, and he speculates on the mental state of Scott. Heenan makes it a point to say that he has no comment after last week. He doesn't want any of that smoke. All right, so Mean Gene is at the top of the ramp. Hang on, I got to cue something up here, folks. All right, so Mean Gene is at the top of the ramp, and he is proud to welcome his guest, the Hitman, Bret Hart. All right, that's enough of that. Dominic, we put up a poll, and that was the winning song. Why don't you give us the details on that?
Yeah, so that was the Tragically Hip. 50. What is it called, Marcus?
What? I thought I told you to cue it up, you bastard.
I queued up his name. I know it was
the Tragically Hip 50 mission cap.
50 mission cap, yes. And that was suggested by Smarkmouth, also known as LA Swire on Twitter. And congrats. Yeah, that is going to be Bret Hart's new theme. We might play that to close out this episode of Rewritten, just so you get a little bit more familiar with it. It's a great song. I know I've heard it before, I think. I know I've heard of the Tragically Hip before. So, yeah, congrats. I think it's a great tune. We put up a poll, and that was one of the options, and we had 3 other options too that were really great. So
I'm thrilled that one won. So I was initially on the Stone Temple Pilots Wicked Garden train, but then I heard that song for the first time, and I was like, that sounds like Turner owned music that they would just find in the archives over there at WCW. So I'm like, perfect song. It's by a Canadian band. Couldn't be any better.
Let's roll with it, baby. The Hitman got some music.
Absolutely. So that music is playing, and Gene is waiting for Bret, but the Hitman isn't coming through the curtain. Gene is looking around confused when suddenly the camera finds Hart and Flair brawling on the floor off to the side of the ramp. Hart and Flair brawl toward the entryway, and we see that Bret has a handful of platinum hair, apparently torn from the head of the Nature Boy. Hart seems to get the upper hand, and Flair bumps for him on the ramp as Gene gives them a wide berth. Hart throws the clump of hair down on top of Rick and walks away, limping a little bit after the intense brawl. Gene comes over to Rick, who has picked up the handful of hair and is finding his feet. The announcers are going nuts, and Shivani keeps pointing out that Hart has torn the trademark hair right out of Rick's head. Gene asks Flair if he's all right, and Flair has come up, red-faced and raging. Gene! Flair says, J.J. Dillon, these are unsafe working conditions. Flair is holding the handful of hair toward the camera, and we see that some blood is coming from the side of his head where it has apparently been ripped.
Flair's all wild-eyed.
Wild-eyed, red-faced Ric Flair. I want that bastard Hart fined, suspended, and I want his check stopped. They won't do that, though, will they, Gene? No. Bret Hart is WCW's shiny new toy. Well, I'm going to break that toy. It's sold out. I almost said on January 24th, but I'm like, Rick wouldn't say it. It would be hilarious, though. I'm going to break that toy. It's sold out and show everybody exactly who the man is. Gene signs off and throws to Shivani. So I was laying in bed about 2 or 3 nights ago, and this idea occurred to me, and I just started laughing while I was laying there, just because I love the idea of blurring the lines of reality a little bit. So famously, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels had a backstage brawl in WWF on June 9th, 1997, according to Meltzer. Cornette has told the story, and he says that that following the brawl, Michaels stormed into Vince's office with a handful of his own hair and shouted about unsafe working conditions, threatening to quit. So with Flair and Michaels kind of being cut from the same cloth as far as they're kind of looked at as 1A and 1B as the 2 best wrestlers ever. This kind of just felt like a fun opportunity to play with the real life incident and further the Hart and Flair storyline.
How about that? Good stuff. I like it.
Yeah. And Ric Flair is so Rick's hair is so iconic too, that it's like having Hart rip it out. It was cracking me up when I came up with this idea, and I was like, I've got to do this.
You got to do it. That's good stuff. That's a good way to kind of build to it.
All right. So I've got to cue something else up real quick. All right, Shivani, Tenay, and Heenan discuss the Bret Hart and Ric Flair angle when suddenly they're interrupted by music. All right, that's enough. So, obviously the Wolfpack theme was awesome. But I like Scott Hall when he went to ECW, and then basically for every indie gig, for the most part, he had that song as his entrance music, and I was like, that song would be so cool for this new Hall, Nash, Hennig, Rude, and Conan faction. I was like, got to do it. So they bought the rights to the Fugees. It's a 1996 song. That's that going forward. That is their new theme.
Yeah, heck yeah. That's a great tune too.
Absolutely. So Scott Hall and Kevin Nash emerge in ring gear. Both are wearing the same shirt. It's red with cut off sleeves, and on the front of the shirt is a snarling wolf.
Is it
They
the
get
same wolf we're used to?
the exact same one, except there's no NWO stuff on it. This is not the NWO wolf pack. This is just the wolf pack.
Nice.
They get to the ring, and after posing on the turnbuckles, Hall grabs the stick. Hey, yo, the Outsiders decide that if Zbyszko is going to have that big goof, the Giant, with him, it's sold out, maybe we should have a little tune-up. We searched high and low, and we found a couple of jabronis, opponents, who have about the same skill as Zbyszko and the Giant. Hall hands Nash the mic. Watch what happens here tonight and mark your calendars and remember this day, because tonight you're seeing the birth of a new dominant force in wrestling. Tonight, you see what the Wolfpack is capable of. Hall leans over so that the mic picks him up. And he says, Six-Pac, this one's for you. Hall loved going into business for himself and just saying stuff on the mic that was like out of place and he shouldn't be saying. So I was like, I'm just going to throw this. I'm just going to throw this in here.
Yeah.
One of the things that makes Scott Hall so cool is that he just doesn't care about stuff. So like, if you guys remember the spring break episode, the Giant was supposed to come out and attack the Outsiders. And so right after Kevin Nash like gave him his cue, Hall grabs the mic and he's like, hey Giant, that's your cue. And then the Giant walked down to the ring. So gotta love Scott Hall. So I was like, I gotta throw one of those moments in here. All right, so their opponents come out from the back with no music, and it's two enhancement talents that were used a lot in this era. It is Bob Starr and Tarantula of KSWA fame here in Pittsburgh. Yeah, so
Bob Starr too, I got to meet at StarCast 4.
What's that?
Bob Starr, I got to meet too at StarCast 4.
Oh, did you really?
Yep.
Yeah, so they were both used pretty commonly as enhancement talents here. Tarantula, obviously still active here in Pittsburgh. Dominic and I have been around him quite a bit. Yeah, we love T. But so
let's say let me give a little tip of the cap to T too. He's got a biker gimmick now. It's more to who he is, and he also does the infamous now Nacho City,
where he smashes somebody with nachos.
And like stemming from the Brock Lesnar suplex City, it's nachos instead, and someone becomes victim to it. I want to say that friend Lee McLaughlin had came up with Nacho City in a chant, and it caught fire. And I want to say that maybe he had a lot to do with the invention of Nacho City for Tarantula.
You could certainly argue that Tarantula is one of the biggest draws in Pittsburgh right now. All right, so the announcers call this out for the absolute farce that it is and talk about how absurd it is to compare these two to Zbyszko and the Giant. So Hall starts off against Starr and absolutely mauls him, hitting him with his trademark stiff chops, where those overhand chops in the corner that looked absolutely horrible. And then he choke slams him before doing his Frankenstein-like impression of the Giant. Hall throws Starr toward his own corner and tells him to tag Tarantula. Hall hits T as he's climbing into the ring and dazes the big man. Hall shoots him to the ropes, but the 6'10" Tarantula knocks Hall down with a shoulder block, eliciting a big reaction from the crowd and the announcers. Hall, looking pissed off, gets back to his feet and does his classic, like spit on Tarantula, then hold the hand back over his head and tags in Kevin Nash. Nash comes in and doubles T over with a knee lift to the gut before knocking him to the canvas with an elbow strike to the back of the head. Nash shoots T to the ropes and nails him with the big boot. So Hall is starting to smell blood in the water. He runs over to knock Starr off the apron, and Kev hits T with the jackknife and pins him with a foot on his chest. So next, the Outsiders kick T out of the ring and taunt the crowd. Zbyszko and the Giant are running to the ring, though, and by the time Hall and Nash notice, it's too late. The Giant drills Nash with a clothesline, and Zbyszko tees off on Hall with a punching combo. The Outsiders take a powder and head toward the back with their tails between their legs. The Giant looks toward them intensely, and Larry points toward his watch, telling them that their time is almost up. We hit a commercial.
I can see the Giant raising his hand, being like, I'm ready.
Dude, he was getting crazy pops during this era every time he put his hand up. It was like Goldberg like pops at this time. I remember watching one. It was around this time where the Giant, all he did was come into the ring and do that. As soon as he put his hand up, like everybody in the crowd stood up and just went insane. It was cool how over he was during this time.
How far? You don't have to delve in too much, but how far ahead do you have planned for the Giant?
Not especially far, and there's a reason for it though.
Okay.
So you'll see. All right. When we return, Mean Gene is in a locker room surrounded by Los Latinos. At the center of the group, Gene is holding a mic for Eddie Guerrero, who's holding an ice pack to his nose, and he has 2 black eyes. Eddie Guerrero, Roddy Piper has issued a challenge to you for Sold Out on January 24th. He may have broken his hand in the altercation with you earlier tonight, but it appears that you didn't come out unscathed. Do you accept his challenge? Gene, Eddie says, tonight goes to show you exactly the type of man Piper is. Here I am, trying to bring a chair to an old man so he can sit, and he sucker punches me and breaks my nose. And then, following his cowardly attack, he challenges me to a match at Sold Out. Piper, the way I see it, you're just another in a long list of people who have seen my talent and wanted to snuff it out and hold me back. Yes, I accept your challenge, Piper, and when I retire you, I want you to know that I didn't just do it for me. I'm doing it for mi familia, Los Latinos. Guerrero and Los Latinos walk away, and Gene throws to the ring.
Does he pitch January 24th?
Damn it, yes, he does. And he says, presented by Snickers. Michael Buffer is in the ring, and we're rolling on our main event now. The NWO music hits, and Macho Man Randy Savage is headed down. He gets to the ring and taunts the crowd until we hear Booker T's iconic music hit, and the TV champion comes out and raises the roof as pyro goes off. Tony, Heenan, and Tenay mentioned Booker T's match with Luger at Sold Out and say that it might be a non-title match if he loses to Savage here. This is certainly the biggest match of Booker T's career to this point. Oh, sorry, alarm. The bell rings and the main event is underway. Savage starts out as the aggressor, but Booker quickly turns things around and starts getting offense on Randy. Booker's looking dominant, and the announcers are hyping the potential for a major upset and the emergence of a new superstar. Just as the crowd is starting to believe Booker T might do it, Savage throws water on the fire with a low blow. Savage turns things around and starts hitting all of his signature offensive moves. So like the back elbow, we got, his classic punching combinations and double axe handle off the top rope, et cetera, et cetera. Savage picks Booker T up for a body slam, but Booker counters and lands behind Savage and downs him with a back body drop. The two are laid out, and the ref starts his count. They get to their feet at about the same time and start exchanging blows. Booker gets the advantage, but when he tries for a standing sidekick, Savage pulls the ref in the way, and Booker knocks the ref out. Savage rakes Booker's eyes and then plants him with a body slam. Noticing that the ref is unconscious, Randy decides to get a little extra advantage. He rolls outside the ring and he grabs a chair. As he's headed back to the ring, a cameraman grabs him from behind, spins him around, and nails him with the diamond cutter. The cameraman pulls off his hat, and we see that it's DDP. He rolls Savage into the ring, where Booker T is still rubbing his eyes after he's regained his feet in the corner. Booker sees Savage is laid out in the ring, so he climbs to the top rope and connects with a Harlem Hangover. Booker drags the ref over, covers Savage, and gets a slow 1-2-3 for a huge win and a monster pop. The camera finds DDP at the top of the ramp, grinning ear to ear, and that's how we close the show. That is it. Episode 4, Dominic, in the books.
Wrapping it up. I like it.
We've got one more episode before Sold Out.
January 24th. Presented by
January 24th. Presented by Snickers, I'm pretty sure.
Sweet. I thought it was a good show. Yeah. Like, Sting is not on the show. And, you want to
Hogan wasn't on the show.
Yeah. So kept a little bit of the stars away, but it presented some new ones and familiar ones. So
that's the thing too, man, is so for the most part they were on every Nitro, but if I remember right, they did not make appearances every week, nor should they. We need a little of that absence making the heart grow fonder.
Added so much to intrigue. I too remember, me being a big Scott Hall fan, like anticipating, is Hall going to be on tonight? Is he going to be on? And like you'd be reading the dirt sheets and stuff at that point, and like at some point here and there, Hall would have personal issues. So you're like, how's he doing? Is everything okay? And that kind of thing. But but not having people on week in, week out is a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts the product, and certainly keeps them fresh for I mean, these crowd reactions, a lot of them are due to like, hey, there's my guy, I finally saw him. So these people are coming out maybe hoping that they're going to see Stinger Hogan, so like, hey, let's make them wait.
They can wait it out, man. Yeah, a good show. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So yeah, and thank you guys for giving it a listen or a download or whatever we've done here. Hopefully Dominic can make all the cuts there on our YouTube so that we don't get a cease and
Flagged.
desist or flagged. So yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Next week we've got episode 5, and then following that, it's Sold Out 1998, January 24th, 1998. It's presented by Snickers.
Yeah, it's presented by Snickers. Let me say, so Marcus, when we started this off, it was kind of funny. Like we were promoted it, I like teased it. We didn't have an episode out yet, and we had got a little bit of a rub from somebody, like unofficially.
Yes, we did. A guy who is backstage during this era, listening to people talk on the phone, and that's Mark Madden.
Mark Madden of Pittsburgh, where I reside, where you kind of reside. And yeah, he said this was going to be shit. I personally don't think it is. I think it's been a lot of fun. I think you're very, very creative, and you put a lot of work into it too, so that's good. But I'm just saying right now, this is like my Eric Bischoff to Vince McMahon thing. Hey, you want to come over, Mark, on the show? You got the invite. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I stand by everything that I'm doing. I think that Mark is a jaded person, in general. Who knows? Maybe he was trying to give us a rub. It just in like a super condescending way. I don't know.
Listen, I was flattered by honestly, because it's just it's kind of funny. I mean, it is, because I mean, hey, you think about it. It's a podcast and like basically fantasy booking. So it's just like, yeah, okay.
We're just having fun. And yeah, like all these wrestlers, like or former wrestlers or guys who worked backstage, they often say like, hey, once you have the pencil, it's different. And these fans think it's so easy, but hey, by all means, give it a try. See if you can do it.
And we consider our circumstances. We don't have to worry about all the ins and outs like we mentioned before. Like there's so much shit that Bischoff and other people had to worry about in regards to it, whether it's injuries or egos or anything like that. And so this is all hindsight. This is like, hey, we are making it pretty easy for ourselves or yourself.
We are, and we're just having fun here. So like that being said, Dominic, I do think that it's a little bit overblown as far as like how difficult booking is or would be. And now, obviously, dealing with all these different personalities and people giving boo-boo face when you're trying to set up a storyline, it would be frustrating. But like, if that's your sole job, if that was my entire job, I mean, I do this. I have a baby. I have a full-time job, and I'm writing all this out.
I think though, Marcus, you're discrediting a little bit the fact of people and stars that you're dealing with that want certain things. Then you have unexpected circumstances come into play. It doesn't make it that easy. Like there is stuff that once you're in that environment during that time with those people too, you're like those names, it's just like it's a little bit harder than anticipated. Plus, like I spoke with Al Snow here recently, and I think I talked to you about this off the air. It was like Al mentioned, and he does OVW. So, and he books it. He's like, and he says it's like the toughest hour of his week is booking and dealing with OVW. Like, ultimately it's a passion of his and stuff like that. But he's like, he dreads it sometimes because it is very difficult to do. And that's just an hour show that's like, not on mainstream television like TNT and stuff like that. So, I mean, I probably would not say that it's easier than meets the eye. I'm sure there's a lot of things that not being in the element.
Easy, no, absolutely not. Neither is this, by the way. Trying to come up with stuff. Like my mind is just kind of constantly going. Anytime I've got spare time, I'm like, oh, I should do this. Oh, in 2 weeks, I'm going to try that. Yeah. So it's easy, no. But like, here's the thing: is like everybody says, like you're not in the wrestling business. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like, look, I'm a wrestling fan. I know what I like. I know what I think other people who are like-minded enjoy. So like that aspect I can cover. Now you're right. It would be frustrating having all these talent like call off work or boo-boo face, or there's an injury all out of nowhere. Like there was a
Or they
lot of
don't.
moving.
Something Al brought up that I never even thought about was like, you tell a star to do something, or like you want something to happen, but it's up to them to do it, to actually do it, or
and
to
perform
get
it properly.
across.
Yes.
And sometimes that doesn't happen. And so then it kind of could create flaws in your booking ideas and process. That's another thing to kind of consider too.
Sure, absolutely. There's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. Let me just say, Dominic, if Al Snow needs a hand over there, I'm happy to jump in. Because I really think, and maybe I'm underestimating it, but I truly believe that I could be a help in a booking committee.
Well, I mean, creative writer, you've had writing experience and stuff like that. Like you've been, Mark, I was actually going to pitch this to you at the beginning of the show. Because I was thinking about it. I was like, do you remember what your first like creative writing big thing was that you did? I mean, this was in school. I remember you doing creative writing starting off in school, and like us kind of realizing that you could write like in ways. Do you remember what that was?
I know that I had some stuff published. I think it was like short story or some poetry, stuff
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right.
Yeah.
I remember part of
So
it.
it's yeah, I was published like 2 or 3 times when I was in high school. So it's like I mean, obviously, it's probably winding up in some fucking teen magazine or whatever. You know what I mean?
Uh, so yeah, Madden. I mean, heck, I'll dedicate a whole. We'll make a special episode to criticize us. Go right ahead. But I'm gonna make this bet too. Even if he does listen or whatever, it's like he's gonna just be like, I make enough money anyways, or it's always the financial stuff with Mark. So
Well, it is. Also, he tends to look down on people like me and yourself, saying that basically we're small timers, not worth his time. And to be honest, Dominic, I didn't know that you were gonna shoot Mark an invite. If I found out that he was desperate to be on the show, I don't think I'd be interested. So we're here having fun. We don't need to invite a divisive personality into the situation.
yeah. So there we go. All right. Well, one more time. Follow us on Twitter at WCW Rewritten. Follow Marcus on Twitter at Marcus P. DeAngelo. You can follow me on Twitter at Dominic DeAngelo, and follow WrestleZone. Did I say follow WrestleZone already? No, I didn't. Follow WrestleZone on Twitter at WrestleZone.com. Yes. Well, episode 4 is in the books here.
That's it, guys. Really appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
And hey, guess what? We're out of time.
Tape machines are rolling.